Next up, ag researchers and economists are crunching numbers to help give you an idea of the money you'll be putting down this upcoming growing season. The 2021 UNL crop budgets include 83 production budgets for 15 crops, including information on crop budgeting procedures, standard inputs, and a production cost summary. Extension educator Glennis McClure contributed to the 2021 crop budgets and joined me this week to talk about them.
So the 2021 crop budget projections were created, as we have for many, many years. We use assumptions thought to be valid for many producers in Nebraska. However, we realized at the university that each farming operation is unique. And so I think producers can take a look at that list and take a look at those individually and decide what really comes close to sort of matching what their production practices are, and like what they put for inputs, if they do no-till, if they do conventional till, if it's irrigated, dry land, those kinds of things. We try to represent a lot of different cropping practices in Nebraska.
And Glennis, it seems like COVID has just impacted everything one way or another. What kind of impact is that having on crop budgets?
Well, I think the main thing is, as everyone knows, is that we had less demand on fuel and oil, so that has driven down the cost of fuel and oil. And as, again, in agriculture, very dependent on that type of thing. So for our operating costs, when we've decreased the diesel and oil prices that go into our individual budgets. And so that has caused the cash costs of our budgets to decrease. So that affects, again, our operation costs, and it also, fuel and oil sort of drives what's happening on the fertilizer production side of things, and also crop chemicals. And so with those prices down, that's also caused some of those prices to be adjusted a little downward too for 2021.
Where are we seeing some specific increases in costs?
You know, actually, Troy, we did not see huge increases at all because of the significant change in those fuel prices. We on the cash side of things, we actually are seeing less of a cost per unit or per acre because of, again, those oil prices, chemicals, coming down. So we didn't see increases. I've actually kind of looked back and took a sampling of some of those budgets and see that we have cash costs back to almost the 2018 levels. Now, we did decrease the real estate tax rate just slightly as the legislature has been working on some of those changes with our real estate tax rates. We also made a change, and we did add on overhead costs per acre, $5. So that's been normally running about $20 per acre, and we increased that to $25 because, as you know, expenses like utilities, general farm and liability insurance kind of keep going up, accounting, those kinds of expenses really need to be covered by all of your different crop enterprises.
As one of the researchers on this, did you notice any surprises when you were gathering data for 2021?
A lot of our crop specialists do work on their end in kind of considering what may be changing as far as practices, what kinds of pesticides go into the different operations and so on. And so I thought it was interesting that we decreased, again, and it might be related somewhat to the oil prices, as I mentioned earlier, but we decreased some of the input costs on the chemical side fairly significantly in some cases. We also made some changes to some of those products that are being used. And I understand that there's been more generics developed in that side of things for crop pesticides. And so with generics, we often see a little bit of a lower price. And with that, some of the demand and competition is in the market. So then that really has caused, some other adjustments with some of the sort of the name brands to make some changes.